back. Tom's Fury 02s, I think. Um, I I've put this on 02s, 3, and the Parachute channel, and I'm not expecting anyone to join, but just in case anybody does, this has been because I don't always see the StreamYard comments. It filters a few of them out, but I'm doing this with the assumption that I'm alone because I kind of set it up that way, and because none of these particular episodes, yeah, require me not to be. So, having said that, I'm obviously if anyone turns up, they've got any questions, obviously I would answer them. But I'm just going to record as though that weren't the case. And I suppose, excuse me, to start, like a lot of stories we've been through have kind of been fun and quite fun loving stories, and you can sort of laugh about them at the end of the day. And don't get me wrong, even with many now, we still laugh about them at the end of the day. But I thought I've got a lot of things coming up where I've got video from various different things that is sort of put together but hasn't actually been finished, and I know that if I don't do it soon, it's going to go off the boil. I'm going to lose that. I'm not very good at watching my own stuff back, and if I have to do it too many times, I'll turn off. So I have to like strike while the iron's hot, and there's just a few other things like that where I've built up something, and it won't be the best video ever, but it might just be a little step up. So aware of that, despite my mood, I just thought, well, we just sit and spin a few more yarns, kind of thing. But considering the sinister kind of not sinister, cynical kind of mood that I'm in, I suppose infiltration is a good place to start, really. And I remember when during the movement, you'd hear a lot of people talk about infiltration, and honestly, I used to think that it was a totally paranoid. By the way, I never used to think that it wasn't possible. I never used to think that it wasn't probable. But the way people used to carry on about it, I used to think that if nothing else, it made them paranoid and a bit over the top. You know. Um, But I can tell you from just being a little player like me, who really is inconsequential, um, even people have tried things with us where that, you realize that yeah, this sort of stuff does happen, whether it's state intervention or whether it's intervention from your enemies. Someone's always looking to flip you or something. I mean, I was approached by the Masons. I mean, at that point, I had 3,000 subscribers. Why? Why? But I was escaped by the Masons. Escaped. That's fucking Freudian slipped. I escaped the Masons. I got away from there. Because they contacted me. I didn't get that at all. And the thing is that people. I think some people. The reason they're so. I've been trying to ask myself over and over. Why am I so easily fooled? Why am I so gullible? Why, I see I'm not alone. Hi guys. Why am I so gullible that I fall for such stupid shit that other people don't? But I think it's because I work off body language a lot of the time. And I think when a person believes their own bullshit, or if they've got good intentions and they believe what they're saying at the time, that's exactly how I'll read it, you know. And I might not necessarily put their track record or anything else up to scrutiny. It will be what I read in them at the time, which could be a bit of a flaw, you know. And so yeah, and obviously as well. I mean, in this kind of business, you got to be careful. Anybody you fall out with it's gonna go out those terrible things, but that's just to be expected. But no, it's the infiltration and the whys. When you got a channel of like 3,000, why infiltrate a channel of 3,000? I mean, it makes sense from some respects, but not from others. And we had a guy who I still to this day don't, I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure, but I wouldn't like to state his true intentions because I honestly don't know what his actual true intentions were. Um, but all I can tell you is he became sort of part of Zero News. Some of you who were here will remember him. Um, I'm not even going to name him. I just wouldn't give him the time of day. But some of you remember him will remember him. It's the reason why the third channel exists. Um, he wanted Zero News pulled into politics, um, to make a difference, sort of thing, and that's where we should be. That's why Bolton always makes a joke about, this guy always used to say, you got to be in the tent pissing out, not in out the tent pissing in, which makes so much sense when you hear it, but the realities of it are depends who you're in the fucking tent with, doesn't it? You know, and yeah, and so I think this guy tried to put us in a certain direction. And again, I'm not going to try and speculate as to his reasons because, I could be wrong and that would be unfair. What I can tell you is this guy, so there was, I don't think Bolton will mind me saying this. There was a teeny bit of tension between me and Bolton at the time. I think I was a wee bit insecure, and Bolton is just Northern. um, and but also as well, what I didn't know was that Bolton and I had both been fed the flames individually by this guy who went. I say to you about questioning his reasons, but then you come to the point of he he would say things. So he would tell me that I needed to spend X amount of money on hotels, right? And I'd say to him, "Well, I don't need to spend that much. I can just get like a fucking 2-star bloody place, hostel, whatever else, sleep there for the night." And he used to try and talk me out of it. Then he'd get on the phone to Bolton and tell Bolton that I was expecting to stay in 5-star hotels and I was asking for more money. Um, and they accused Archer. I've known Archer in my personal life for over 25 years, and he's one of the most generous people I know, which is why it was the worst person you could have said it about because I know him too well. But a lie was said about him that he was basically just charging me money to kind of make a gain out of it, even though he was already going to do something himself. And it was just mean spirited, horrible things to do. And the biggest point of it was there was nobody in the team who he had a good word to say about to anybody else. I mean, literally nobody. So he was there that's where you have to think infiltrator, because there was nobody there he was trying to get on with. He was literally stabbing every single person, including me, in the back. And I mean, Jesus Christ, if he wasn't infiltrator, he was just nuts because he'd be phoning me up 12 times a day. I mean, I remember the night when I got back my ex-missus, the first time ever he'd respected. I got back from a demo, I was tired, I didn't want to talk about it all. And because he hadn't bothered me, I made the mistake of saying thanks for letting me to it. Fucking cunts on the phone ruins that night. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I remember because he was, he's a politician and all the rest of it, and we did learn some things. Don't get me wrong, but what I learned was I'd always thought that I couldn't fit in that kind of environment because of the type of person that you would have to be. And I wouldn't necessarily say this about the APPG groups, because from what I saw, which is very little, they seemed all right. But in terms of the rest of it, I just don't think someone like me could survive, because it's not about honesty, integrity, loyalty, nothing like that. You have to lower yourself to play their game in order to get anywhere. And I remember him saying to me that, there's a parliament, in parliament, there's a bar. There is this little bar and where the politicians and that will fraternize and where a lot of the deals will get done, And I remember him saying, saying to me, I can't remember, but something about what did I think of basically the dramas and the him reeling people in, getting this bit of information, getting that bit of and I remember telling him that it actually made me feel sick. Um, that it was this kind of world, and I remember him just turning around and saying, "I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. I'm reading this person and I'm reading that person." But and I just that was the moment for me where I was like, I don't want to know you anymore. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We are so different. I can't even jump. I can't even get my mind into your mind to understand where you are coming from. Um, I get it. Maybe it's some kind of control thing. Maybe he's got some erotic fantasy over control. But whatever it is, even then, it just. I don't know. I just thought he sounded like a sick fuck. And I just remember thinking, we're done. We're done. And we have been done for a very long time. And I won't mention him by name as well because when it's this far down the line, it's wrong to name and shame people, But um, if you got anything to say, you say it at the time. But yeah, um, he came along, and he really did force his way into Zero News. And but what I mean by that is email, 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 email. And when I wasn't responding to them, and not because I was ignoring them, because I was busy. I mean, he really did bother me. Um, so he put himself into the path of talking to me on the phone. He made that all happen. He chased me into making that all happen. You know, same as a certain other person who I won't mention, who I don't think to this day, I still don't think had any bad intentions. But as an example of you don't know, is you know they found me at a place was obvious to find because I was on camera. But people seek you out, come and find you when nobody else is there. Probably the best time to seek me out, to be honest, and probably a clever idea. Nothing wrong with it. But obviously, with all these things and with all you learn, I mean, one thing like me and Bodsky will agree on is the government have been very good at. Oh, Jesus, I can't see, but these are the wrong glasses. I think these are long distance glasses. Damn it. I can see the comments on the screen over there. Is that the 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 government have been very good at divide and conquer or divide and rule for at least 500 years in this country. At least 500, and when I say 500 years, they may be doing it longer, but what I mean is of having it down to an art. Um, and sorry, yeah, I'm getting a bit off track, but yeah, and so it's not unrealistic to think. And then, even if it's not government or agency or anything like that, it's just down to weirdos, weirdos, stalkers, you know. The funny thing is you're not. I mean, I'm very realistic about what we are. You're a tiny little YouTube channel. You're not famous. You're not anything. But that's how I see it, and that's how many of you see it. But there are other people that see it differently, and so they will try and blackmail you, threaten you, hurt you, um, and be best friends with you, all for this perception that of something that they believe that you have and you haven't. And even if you did have, I mean, what a way to treat people. Um, and you imagine this is on my level, tiny little level such as mine. Can you imagine that? If you imagine that blown up, imagine what it must be like for an actor or someone with a massive profile. It must be really difficult um, to even navigate that shit. Um, that's probably why I wouldn't want to be something like that. But someone tiny like me, you'd think it'd be easy, and yet it hasn't been, and that's why I think like the team we've got now, it's always hard to expand that team because because although we're probably because we're probably understaffed in some ways. You know, you got to add to it. But I just know that everybody we've got right now is like trustworthy to the core, hardcore trustworthy. You know, and it's just that we need different people in different places, and you know, certain things I need help with. But you know, it's difficult. It's difficult to part of the you know, part of the process of doing this is trust. It's being able to trust people, and often people are either doing their own thing, so it's not even a question of trust. They're just doing their own thing, so they haven't got the time for you, or you know, it's the can I trust this person? Why is person A so eager? You know, and all that kind of stuff. It's all pretty messed up. It's all pretty messed up. Don't get me wrong. If I could afford to go and pay someone, I'd probably just do that because at least then you could put an advert in the paper for something they don't know about, and then their interest would be based on money. You'd know that from the get go. At least you know where you stood. You know, um, but you know, I guess that's again another cynical way of looking at it. But yeah, and you know, you just had these weirdos that have approached us from time to time with weird offers and yeah, just weird stuff. And some of it is probably just weirdos, you know, and some of it is I think dead serious. And it's just like the Masons was the one that cracked me up. Just like what do you think what is the best you think is going to happen out of this conversation? You know, what is the best case scenario for you Masons you think is going to happen out of this conversation? Do you know what I mean? Um, oh God, that was just so dumb contacting me of all people. Um, yeah, that was stupid. But no, and I know I'm jumping between subjects a little bit, but as I said, you know, I was really planning to record it myself that hour I need to, and then perhaps cut it or delete it. Didn't really mind, but this does make my mind float around to different places, and you know, back to was it March 31st, 2018, the first demo that I went to, Brexit demo. Nigel Farage, not Nigel, sorry, not Nigel Farage, he was down the road, because he wouldn't have anything to do with Tommy at the time. No, it was Gerald Batten and Tommy and God, you know what? I can't even remember who else. That's bad, but it was. Don't forget, it was my first demo. I was super stoked. Um, and we did not bad for the filming considering it was our first one. And you know, you people forget, and I forget. You know, there was a time when people used to rely on Zero News to be the signal that wouldn't go down, the one you would always know would be there. And I completely forgot that that ever happened. But because we always go with the appropriate SIM cards, we go with the appropriate equipment, and we got a bit lucky, we could do that. And I completely forgot about that, you know. And that was a cool little thing because every channel wants to have something about it that is a bit special. And that was a cool little special thing we had for us, you know. Every channel's got something special, and that's when I look at you know, say Buskers or even look, even some people I don't get on with. You look at their channels and you've got to admire them for the things that are um ingenuitive or you know um yeah you've got to admire that kind of stuff. Um, and so, you know, I think that's a healthy kind of thing. But um, oh, sorry, I'm what's the word? So I started with the infiltration. Um, but it just because I started there, my head's been a bit stuck on you know how easy that would actually be. I mean, you think about how difficult that was on somebody. I kept thinking the other way around. The reason I'm stopping and pausing, I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought it'd be easy to pull on someone like me, and harder to pull on other people. But really, you think about it, it's going to be the other way around. There's less people with me, so you come in, you're new, you're going to be more noticed. But I suppose in the larger arena, it's actually going to be easier to fool people when you think about it. So infiltration is probably going to work a lot easier the bigger the group that you've got to work with. To be honest, thinking about it, makes sense, doesn't it? I think it makes sense. Um, but but Busker's channel's all right. But I'm only just seeing your comments now. I've got the wrong glasses on. My short distance is not working, so I can only see you from a distance. Hey, Babs. Hey, so I don't know what you mean by and giving up on me, Tom. I'm not sure, but Busker's channel not the same anymore. His chats were good. Well, obviously you were totally entitled with your own opinions. I'm not gonna say that, but honestly, I think Busker does some. I think Busker does some of the most underestimated, underappreciated work in the movement because Busker does some stuff that, to be frank, is dangerous. And where he doesn't necessarily get the backing of other people, um, he can, he puts himself in harm's way to get a story. Um, and he doesn't put himself in front of the camera often to get the gratitude of that story. He's one of the true people, like certain other people who started off right at the beginning. He's one of the true people that hasn't gone out to put his name, his face out there. And he's taken probably more shit than anybody. So all our channels fluctuate up and down. And I can't rate Busker's channel because, as Busker knows, I don't get a chance to watch other people's channels very often. But I mean, I've always enjoyed it when I've been on there, so I can only really rate it based on that. I've always enjoyed it when I've been on there, and like I say, I've seen some of the stories that he does, and some are daring, some are some are very daring, and it takes there's not many people, especially in journalism, with any courage. It's very rare to find. So I've got to say, yeah, oh, hang on a second. Vicky's story. Tom, been around since your days from posting the garden and going your walks. Don't ever change, sweetheart. You're a natural, kind of normal. Sorry, you're natural, kind, normal, and honest. Thank you so much, Vicky. That's really, really sweet. That is really, really sweet. Um, well, lovely comment. Well, absolutely lovely comment. Um, and yeah, big up Busker. And like I say, there are. I just don't want to name them at the moment. I think it would be inappropriate. But there are also other names out there that have been there right since the beginning, and you'll know who they are. And um, they've all put themselves out there in one way or another, and the good work that people have achieved can never be taken away from them and should never be taken away from them. And from what I've seen, my interaction with Busker is limited in as much as I'm a nightmare to get hold of. Everybody knows that about me. But in my interactions with him, he's not once misled me. He's not once told me a lie that I'm aware of. He's not causing any drama with anybody I know. Do you know what I mean? These are the things that I look for in a person. Are they going to bring drama to my doorstep? Are they going to this, that? Those are the factors for me. Um, Rating him as a creator is not something that I feel that I should be doing because I don't even rate myself as a creator because that's your jobs. So I don't think it's really for me to be rating Busker as a creator. I just think that he's very brave in what he does. Um, but as a person, I just rate people as I find them, and so far, um, he's not done anything around me or near me that's been negative. So how could I say anything negative? It'd be very difficult. I'd have to be looking. I'd have to be looking for a problem. Um, and same with some other people as well. Same with some other people who tend to get it a lot on the internet. But it's like a lot of the things on the internet, and I hope people realize this. A lot of things on the internet are really started by just rumor mongers who know that by saying a rumor in the right place at the right time, it will it will naturally snowball. In a way, they play people's curiosity against itself. And I'm not talking about anybody specific. You can see this across the internet. This is the way Twitter works. Um, and spitball effect you could call it, but it's the way Twitter works. And you see that all the time as well. It's why I've been expecting for us to be snowballed for a long time, to be honest. And I'm still not convinced it won't happen. I'm expecting it sort of every day, for us to just be here 1 minute, gone the next. But I probably haven't put it in the description today, but I will do. I have put the places to jump to, plus there's more to add now to it, on there. And if it did happen, I would choose my place carefully. As I said, I'm a bit stuck because what's the word? I'm like I said, I've got this video project to finish. And there's just a couple of other things coming up that I need to get finished because they're kind of time dependent. They're not time dependent, but they are because they won't age well. They need to come out sooner rather than later. Otherwise, they just won't age well, and then it would be pointless the effort putting in them. So and there's a few things I need to get done first before I can wrap my head around certain other things. Pick up Busk if you see his face. That's funny. But yeah, lockdown was a killer for us all actually. But I thought, have I had a roast today, Tom? I haven't had a roast today. No, no. When I'm if I'm seeing family or whatever, it's a bit different. But when I'm by myself, I'm a very I'm not very good with things like that. I won't necessarily look after myself in the best of ways. Let's put it that way. That's for sure. No, it's funny with this movement, I remember, and it is just memories, but I go back to that March demo, and then what was so nice back then to anybody that wasn't around during that period of time, because I didn't know, because I was quite new to, and still consider myself quite new to the movement, how many people had actually joined after me who I'd seen around so much, so I thought had been there forever. And so they'd only been there since a lot of them told me they'd been there since Tommy got sentenced for the 66 days. And I didn't know this. So there's a lot of people that missed the family friendly days. And that's really sad because one thing I can tell you about the family friendly days was Zero News was still new and who we were was still new. And I brought those cameras there, and the people instantly were really nice, generous with their time, and kind to me. I know you hear this from all quarters about this, but it's still worth mentioning. I knew that I could stick my bag anywhere and it'd be fine. Whether it was engineered, which would be a good thing if it was, or not, which would be a good thing if it didn't have to be. Either way, good thing, and that's that there was no troublemakers there or going to be allowed to be there, one or the other or both. And the atmosphere was, people were 70 years old there, enjoying the day out, and it was a bit like the old British Street Party, except with also hard hitting political points as well. And I it's a shame for anybody that missed that family friendly environment. It wasn't a catchphrase; it was real. It was so nice. Even with Antifa stood down the road shouting. The funny thing was that these were my first events, and when I went down the road to hear what Antifa was saying, we were talking about. I can't remember what we were talking about, like Tommy's court case or something like that. And they were going on about immigrants being allowed in the country. And I was laughing my head off, thinking, they're just shouting quotes. I got nothing to do with why we're here. They've got no idea. They're just shouting stuff because And it was really funny because at knockoff time, half 3, they'd all fucked off exactly the same time. No one would be seen. Once the old TUC money runs out, that's it, gone. And it was comical. It was comical to see all that. But also things were a lot simpler, I guess. A lot simpler in some ways. And I remember, Avi, Danny Tomo, and people on other days as well. Maybe not that same day, but other days as well. Um, you know, didn't know me from Adam and gave me time and stuff like that. And um, very approachable people, I thought. Um, and that made me sort of all of those events back there. It's a shame I didn't realize how many people had never got to be part of those. It's a shame because things had to change after that. You know, I think there was a one we did especially. I say we did, sorry, one that they did especially that it's because you'll feel part of it, isn't it? One that they did especially where the bus and that got attacked and there was a lot of kids there and um there was bottles and stuff being thrown and that. And it was like, holy shit, you I imagine the thought process was you can't use that family friendly moniker. Well, you've got that shit going on. I mean, common sense, right? So that was a real shame. Because yeah, for the people that will never get to experience that. Um, and I still think I remember many people saying I still think it'd be good. I still think it'd be good for us to have a knees up, if you like, as a movement, as a group of people, and um, and just like do it sort of street party fashion, but not even go London, not go anywhere provocative. Just go for a couple of reasons to bond build, and also as well, should a meet up like that get attacked in any way, then I think it would show a lot. I think it would prove a lot as well because it would prove that we can't go anywhere or do anything without being made to try, without being provoked to look a certain way. Um, and I think maybe we played into the game, we played into people's hands a bit much. I think we should perhaps do a few things of our own, and because a lot of us, what people don't see, um, whether it's someone like Glenn that I speak to, you've seen him on the show, how funny Glenn can be, and other people is that like the sense of humour that people have got, and the yeah, just all of it, and you don't get to see so much of that. And I think it'd be great for us to get together and just have that without even without the politics at all. Just have that. But at the same time, be ready because should they come, well, so will the cameras be ready for them, and um, we could probably prove a few points once and for all, couldn't we? Um, it's just things like that. Um, you know, uh, Yeah, Isaac, I don't know I don't know if you're a little bit hyper today, mate, but obviously you're allowed your freedom of speech, but it's just because you say it is, it doesn't mean I'm gonna react like that. I mean, I've got my own opinions, and that's the thing, when I talk about the reason I get sometimes triggered over the research thing is that it's like you hear these scientists talk about research and when they talk about it, normally not political scientists, they're talking about fucking years of research. And you know, Jesus, imagine them spending the time that they spend on research and then finding out you're fucking wrong. I mean, I admire it, but Jesus Christ, that's a scary proposition. And yet you've still done a service to science by proving yourself wrong. Do you know what I mean? You have actually done that because otherwise that theory carries on. But you know, sorry, I just fucking forgot myself then. Um, Sorry, I shouldn't look at the comment. It's these fucking glasses as well. Let me see if I'm better like this. Wait a minute. I've got a pair of my sister's glasses, right? And accidentally, and they look stupid. So I keep getting them all confused. Right, what's this like? Okay, I can see short space for this one. That's better. So I can see things coming up, and I'm thinking one thing's being said, and it's not. Well, whoever it's all over for you, it's certainly not all over for me. I'm, you know, I'm still here. I'm still going. Um, I've got no plans to go anywhere till the day is lost, or the country goes full left, or full full far left, or full far right. Which in which case I get a dinghy and ride out of it. Um, then it's not over for me. Um, there's no singular entity, body, or anything else that is the center of my world and my destiny, which means that the fight's not over. Regardless of with people making pronouncements like that, it's not over till I say it's over. Um, Now I can only do my little bit of damage, and that may only be a scratch. But just being honest, it may only be a scratch. But nevertheless, I'll make that scratch until I decide to stop scratching. And you know, um, so yeah, it's over. It's over when we say it's over. Um, and okay, that may one day come as a concession, but I can't see that. Um, don't get me wrong. The ultimate you want in any scenario where things have gone so polar, and this is where I don't make myself friends. When things have gone so polar in terms of politics, is you do actually want some kind of meeting in the middle, simply because the facts have become so irrelevant that it's roughly in the middle. Somewhere lies the truth. The place that nobody wants to go, the middle. So that's actually the most rational area, where the truth is sort of probably lays. Um, and I honestly think it's the only way to remedy this madness we've got now, where it's just polarization. But sorry, I know this is not exactly how we got here. I'm just I don't know. I'm gonna have to change the title of this one. I'm just speaking my mind out today. I don't even know why I'm doing this fucking recording, to be honest with you. It just fancy spend some time with you guys, if I'm totally honest. If you were here, and if you weren't, spend some time with my beloved camera. Mm, I've got to do some cable management in this room as well. But no, and that's the other thing. I've got all the, we used to when we started this, we had the thing to stand up the camera on. We had a, where is it? I haven't got it here at the moment, but the Don King microphone, um, and the phone itself, and that was it. And we had a couple of SIM cards, um, and some power banks, because I already had the power banks. That's where we started, and now I can say we pretty much. I mean, there's always more further you could go, right? You could always buy more important. You could always buy better equipment. Like I've heard there's a streaming camera which people keep telling me about, but nobody sent me a link about, so I could really do with a link about it. But yeah, there's always something better that you could get. But with that said, we've generally managed to get everything we need to produce the things that we want to produce. And I managed to put, oh, sorry, over Christmas, I managed to put a lot of my own money into getting either lifetime or year subscriptions into the video editors and stuff like that. So, I mean, great deals that come up, because those video editors are expensive. So obviously they're hard to sell. So when the deals come up with them, normally I'm not in a position to do anything, and I was. So I did something, and it's great, because that really does. Even when they upgrade the version, you keep getting the benefits of it. So there's a few shrewd maneuvers I made over Christmas, which have saved a few quid in the long run and given a lot more ability. Um, so yeah, so that's why I've got to get these videos ready in the next, I don't know, let's say week, because I don't want to say a couple of days. That's what I really mean, a couple of days. But let's say week, because if I start giving myself ridiculous deadlines, here we go again, you know? Let's say week. Um, and then yeah, you know, I'm getting so like when I produce certain videos at the moment and they're coming out, they're not looking that much different, but I'm getting them out quicker. Like those intros to make are they used to take hours just to make those simple intros. I'm making the intros themselves in about an hour, and then the rendering is taking minutes, if that, if not, yeah, a couple of minutes. So you compare that to the rendering time that would have been closer to, let's say, a couple of minutes on there. So it would have been closer to about, it would have gone up from about, say, let's say 4 minutes. It would have gone up from 4 minutes to um about 40, about 43, 42 minutes. So it gives you an idea. So when you had a file, you know, you have a file bigger than that, obviously the render times go up again. Rendering, by the way, for those that don't know, right, it's no big deal, right? It's not a big technical thing. You have something called a container. You MP3, MP4, MP5, MP6, yeah, all these they're called the containers, right? And it's just literally the thing that holds the file. Um, and and you have something called a codec. Codec stands for compression, decompression, and all the music files and the video files and everything else. Because video and music are so huge, they're such huge files. You ever see them uncompressed? They're huge, massive. Even sound files. So they have to go through these things called codecs. So they go through a codec, and a codec decompresses them, a bit like the old days with the Commodore 64 and things like that. Things will be decompressed, used, and then recompressed and put back into the file again. And often there's other little tricks used as well. So let's say there's an area of the screen where it will have a black patch for, I don't know, let's say 82 pixels. Then some of the tricks used are instead of having each pixel told to the computer that it's black, the trick of the codec will be to say no, there's 82 black pixels there, which is a much shorter way of saying the same thing, isn't it? You lose any nuance, you completely lose any nuance, which is why if you watch a film that's been through something like that, you'll see that the black area is the worst because they look really bad. You can tell the compression rate when you look at something like that. Um, but yeah, you know, I'm sorry, it's a bit techie, boring stuff in it. But like I said, I'll be honest, I've kind of come on for me, and I wasn't really expecting anyone to come on. But yeah, there's so much I'd love to say, but I want to keep on track to what I'm trying to do really. Um, and you know, it was February. February, there's 2 years for us on YouTube. Um, 2.5 years for the podcast, and what was it? Nearly 6 years for the since the inception of it. Um, conception of it, whatever. Yeah, which is hard to believe, really hard to believe. The first time I wrote down zero news was 6 years ago. That's incredible to believe to me. You know, I had other things I was working on. I was doing something called Chaos Central, which was it was uh, it was a prelude to this actually. I tried to do like a news site that was not a news site exactly, but I don't know, like a site that was open to the public as well. That was basically like a Wikipedia of stories, and where you could just if it was as long as it was provable stuff, you could just submit stuff, and it would just it was why it's called Chaos Central because it would be like an organized chaos, but the database itself would filter things in such a way as to make sense of it. And but I hadn't really, I thought it out programming wise, but I hadn't thought it out in terms of the reality of using it. And so I didn't really try very hard with that, but it was a good prelude to this because I think it is what led me to this. Um, and there was, like I say, obviously you know about Battered Now and Battered Two, and but there were other things I did along the way as well. You know, what is the meaning of life? I brought up at one point I brought up nearly all the domain names of what is the meaning of life. Um, and not because I thought that that was a good question, but because I knew it was the sort of question that somebody writes at 3 o'clock in the morning when they've got nothing better to do. And it's like, well, that's the sort of name you want, then, isn't it? Because that's the sort of name everyone's going to be, you know, the sort of name you want to pick up viewers. Do you know what I mean? So I went for that. Just what was the meaning of life, and it was quite cheap. I was quite surprised, so I went for it. But yeah, what is the meaning of life? And that was again, that was a very similar thing. That was a website just aimed at the very first thing it said on there was we don't know. So it's what the meaning of life was the question, and the answer was don't know. So there was no bullshit on the site. Do you know what I mean? It was there was no attempt to even cover the idea that we knew it. It was just it was just a way of opening up some cool conversations with some different people, and exploring yourself, exploring the political aspect, the life, everything. Just trying to explore everything. Um, but history being the one that really, I mean, I tell you what, history has probably had a bigger impact on me doing this than anything else. Um, and I didn't even realize that. But when I look at the timeline of me beginning to take a massive interest in history and the timeline of me getting involved in this movement and stuff like that, I hadn't realized it. But when you overlap those timelines, they're almost identical. Um, the history thing was a yeah. When I really took an interest in it, I had been taught that not that I necessarily believed it, but it's one thing to not believe something. It's another thing to find out the true stories. And I had been taught that our country sucked and to hate it and this and that and the other. Even I, at 44 years old, I'd been through that at school, even back then. So I'd had that, and then when you read the if you're lucky enough, like I was, to have that interest, and you take it upon yourself to read, you know, and have a look, you're wowed by some of the stuff. You know, obviously, you've got to take in the bad parts as well. It's just not you can't cherry pick, but and it's a very bloody history, but it's ours. It's all ours. You know, good and bad. We've got to own it, good and bad. Um, but I'm saying I'm willing to do. You know, I'm proud of my history because every country had to learn. Every country had to learn usually the hard way. And some countries out there are still learning, are still not, or still supposed to be learning, and still don't seem to be getting a damn thing right. Our country, I believe, was one of the first to grow a conscience. Um, and I always think that's something that will never ever be appreciated and something that will always be overlooked about our country, because it was the first to grow a public conscience. Um, that's how I feel anyway. Um, yeah. And I think because we were the evil British Empire, which we were, um, I don't think we get the credit for the good things that we did. You know, hence why when you get films about the Enigma machine, everybody in it is American. Um, it's a good example of that. Um, and again, I've got no problems with the Americans, but just come on, be a bit fair. Excuse me. And the world would, but anyway, I'm picking at airs. But yeah, so and the conspiracy theory side of things, like I said, I think the thing that got me with that side of things was how when I told you the story the other day about how me and Black Van Man got accused of taking money from Tommy as a backhander to have that fake conversation in front of everybody. And I honestly thought it was a joke, and this person was dead serious. And when I realized how serious they were, I mean, obviously, as well as finding it incredibly amusing, I I yeah, I realized just how it works, just how easy it is for people to believe what they want to believe. And this is the danger we've got. And there was a not very interesting but poignant debate between Sam Harris and um, Jordan Peterson, where they couldn't agree on the fundamentals of truth. And I would argue that was a little bit of Jordan Peterson's ego that day because he didn't want to get pinned down to anything. But if you can't agree on fundamental truths, if you can't have a basic idea that up is up and down is down, then you can't have a conversation on anything else that's important either. Um, and that's a fundamental truth. I think you can't get around it. And if someone's not prepared to agree some basic fundamental truths with you, then you're fucked. You can't get around that. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I know I'm just sort of spouting stuff already. I will change the name of this because this is not even remotely part of this series. This is more just a creative diary, really. I will change it to reflect that. Um, yeah, I will change to reflect that. So apologies. I thought I was going to come and do one thing, although I knew I kind of wasn't really feeling up for that today. Not really up for um, you know, the flavour that was coming across in. Um, but we'll do it another day or another time. Um, so if I do take any time off, remember I've got these videos I've got to do. Um, and they are aging, like I say, I think quite badly as time goes by. Probably just my perception of it, but I just feel like I need to get them done. Also, it's the next chapter then. And also, as well, I just feel that every time I'm doing something, although the results out there may not seem amazing, to me, I'm pulling back on certain projects because I know they're not worth putting 100% into. But the fact that I'm pulling back is telling me I can go further now, easier, further, easier, further, easier. So I'm seeing things where, I'm hoping now, if I get the right footage, the right opportunity, the right time, then I can put something together that's memorable, So we'll see. Anyway, so I'm sorry if I'm disappointed, but I honestly didn't expect to be. I thought I was going to be alone. Um, but as always, I'm grateful that you were here. But I did think I was going to be alone. Um, so thanks for coming. Like I said, we'll change the names of these. Probably not straight away, but at some point. And yeah, I'm back to being tired. I had my first good sleep. I did have a good sleep, and it has done me the world of good. But you know what it's like after that first good sleep? You feel like dog shit afterwards. So yeah, I think I need that second good night's sleep, and then I'm gonna be all right. Like I say, definitely feel a lot better from having that sleep. But Jesus, it's like you still need that next one. So. So hey Babs, hey Leona, Busker, everybody, in case I miss any names. Um, thanks for coming in and giving me your time. It was a lovely comment from Vicky earlier on, wasn't it? Um, you're not alone. So yeah, I think I'll call it a day there, guys, unless you got anything you want to say. I'm sorry I've been a bit monotonal, and whatever else, but it's just yeah, just where I'm at the moment. But like I said, this will come more under a creative diary kind of thing because I honestly truly believe this will be I believe this will be I believe that I'm capturing now, and I'm glad to capture it. I'm capturing now the beginning of something with me. I mean, and I think I'm catching the beginning of something, whether it's a mushroom cloud or um whether it's a creation of something else, something I can't quite put into words yet, something intangible at the moment. Um, I think I'm glad that I got it on camera now because it may not make sense to me now, but yeah, I can't quite put my finger on it. I can't, as in I can't put it into words. So let's just see. Let's just see what happens. Um, so hey Helen, yes, I'm good, thank you. Helen, you sent me an email. Did I send you an email back? I meant to. I know I had a draft, but I don't know if I actually sent it back. Hey, Min, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, mate. Your comments about getting you through the lockdown, that actually really lifted me up when I saw that. That made it worth making the videos. If for no other reason than that, you know. So, glad I lifted you up, and it lifted me up reading that. And Min says good day to all the other cunts I can't see. She didn't really. She said good day to all the other chats I can't see. Oh no, you didn't. Okay. It means it's stuck in draft, Helen. Okay, I'll get back to you tonight actually. As long as I don't fall asleep as soon as I turn the camera off. That's been happening. But yeah, needless to say, I was uh totally on board with you, and I hope the email I sent you explains where I'm at with everything. Or the email I will send that I forgot to send. It goes, like I say, it goes in my draft. If I don't hit the send at that moment, and it only takes one WhatsApp message or whatever else, and then you're taken off track, aren't you? So yeah. I think we're there, guys. I think we're there. Okay. Um, I'll come back when I come back next. Um, I'll do a proper story because we've got lots of them. Um, and yeah, um, there's actually one that just popped in my head, but maybe I'll just save it for another time. So yeah, we will do that, and it's only because a few people have asked. It's not on a mass demand, but a few people wanted to know some of these stories, so we will carry on doing them. Yeah, I don't know why I even tried today, really, but like I said, it's a good creative diary, and in a way, I'm glad I got it on camera because I honestly do believe I'm filming the beginning of something. I don't know what yet, but anyway, thank you. Um, yes, men says, "Oh, Tom, I didn't call them that." Then she puts in brackets, cunts. No, not really. She doesn't. She doesn't. Actually, I think she might hate that kind of language, so I shouldn't really have said that. So, um, thanks for joining me, guys, and sorry for causing trouble, men. And I will see you soon. Love you lots. Thanks for giving me time. It wasn't expected. I was happy to go solo today, so thank you so much.